Hello, everyone. I'm Governor John Carney. Thank you for joining us for this recognition of some of the most important people in our state. They're entrusted with educating all of our children. All of our objective is to make sure that every child in our state has an opportunity to be successful. And these are the people that lead our schools, the teachers and educators at each of those schools and districts across our state, to make sure that we can achieve that objective. And so as governor, I'd like to thank each of them first. This I'm going to read later, the proclamation in observance of Principals Month. It's the month that we celebrate and hold up all the principals here in our state, the great work that they do, the challenges that they face, and the children that they touch. And each of you makes a difference in the lives of so many children in our state. We have some of the district superintendents that have joined us, and we thank you for your leadership. And we also have Secretary Susan Bunting, who I'm going to turn it over to right now. Actually, as I think about it, I'd like if the superintendents would like to say a word or two after Dr. Bunting is finished. Why don't we give you an opportunity to do that? And then we'll go to Dr. Evelyn Edney to talk about the principal specifically. Dr. Bunting.
It's not often that I'm quiet. Last evening, we had the opportunity to recognize our outstanding teachers. It was quite an evening to celebrate what's happening in our schools. And today we can add to that by congratulating our principals and sharing our deepest appreciation for what it is that they do every day to help the students across our state. If we've ever noted the importance of leadership, it certainly has been this year. And we were working through this together. We have a lot of teamwork that's been necessary to get us to the point where we are so far this year. I deeply value it, and I know, having been a chief for a long time, that it was the backbone of a district to have outstanding principals. So I want to congratulate our principals. It is my privilege to visit with them as frequently as I can, and this year I will continue to do the school visits, despite the fact that we have a very unusual situation. So I echo my congratulations, my gratitude for all that you all do, and pat yourselves on the back. You really deserve the recognition from today. Thank you.
So Dr. Bunting's exactly right. I don't think there's been any year as challenging and as difficult for school principals, administrators, teachers, and staff than this year. With the unprecedented situation of the COVID-19 pandemic. The level of detail, I've been through your schools, I've listened to the advice of public health. I know what you have to go to in terms of spreading the children apart, making sure that all the children can get connected remotely while you're in a remote learning situation, bringing the children back into school gradually and safely so that everybody can learn and that teachers and educators can do their work without too much concern about the spread of the virus. I've noticed that each of the students, there was a lot of concern that the students wouldn't wear masks, but every school that I've been to, it's been really great. The kids seem to be more flexible than we adults in that respect, and have done a wonderful job. And I know they take their lead from each of you, from the superintendents that have joined us to the principals that we're celebrating in this month. And so if the superintendents, anyone would like to say a word or two, just put your hand up and we can recognize you. And go ahead, Dr. Shelton.
So I just want to thank you, Governor, for recognizing our principals. We know that our building leaders are so important to making sure that our buildings run smoothly. And it is among the group that you have here, I see quite a few previous nationally distinguished principals, a national assistant principal that's now a principal. And we are all working very, very hard to make things safe healthy and make the best education possible for our students. And the group here, these principals, assistant principals being recognized today, are leading that work. So thank you.
Well said. From the ground, go ahead.
Governor, this is Jeff Menzer at Colonial. I too want to say thank you for taking this opportunity to recognize the hard work of our dedicated principals in our schools. And on a good year, it's a tough job. I mean, this year you can only exponentially imagine the challenges they face, as you've already alluded to. I know you like to use geometry, so I'm going to use exponents there just for a real take a break from the geometry. We really count on them to do the great things that they do for students and staff. And I would say thank you to every principal in the state of Delaware and Colonial for all that you do for children every day. I mean, it does not go unnoticed. You just might not hear it every day that you should. So thank you.
You're right, Jeff. It has been an exercise in geometry as we tried to keep the desks and the students 6 feet apart, a radius of 6 feet, which obviously empties out classrooms and makes it more challenging. It empties out buses and requires that you have twice as many in so many cases. So really challenging work to be done. So Dr. Edney, as president of Delaware Association of School Principals, why don't you share some words with us?
Thank you very much. Thanks so much for just taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're trying to keep everybody in Delaware safe, so we appreciate you being on the news every night and just, you know, making sure that all of our citizens are doing what they need to be doing to keep us all safe. Thank you, Dr. Bunting, for addressing us as well, and the superintendents. We really appreciate your words. We know how hard it is. This has really made us all rethink what we're doing, but the good part is we're all still in it. We're excited to work with each other. That's probably the biggest thing that I've seen is that the principals leaning on each other. We have an incredible executive board of the Delaware Association of School Principals. We hold county-wide meetings. We're holding monthly meetings to just do some networking, to talk with each other in regard to how we're all doing this. And, you know, we've had to reinvent education almost every day, it seems, but the job's getting done, and we're excited to see our kids, for those of us who can, and for those of us who are remote, being able to see them, even if it's just in this little box, it brings joy to us. So thank you very much for taking time out. This certainly has just been a year and some change for us, working through and navigating through this COVID experience. So again, thank you very much for taking time out of your day. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Dr. Edney, and thank you for your leadership of the association, bringing along and supporting your colleagues, principals across our state, and for the work that you do at early college, high school there at Delaware State University. Thank you for that good work. Next up, Dr. Rebecca Feathers, who's the president of Delaware Association of School Administrators and the principal of Brick Mill Elementary School.
Good afternoon, and I'd like to echo Dr. Edney. Thank you to Governor Carney and Secretary Bunting for their leadership, and thank you to all of our superintendents who are out there supporting our principals. On behalf of the Delaware Association of School Administrators, I would like to thank all of our principals out there who are leading during these unprecedented times. We know that this has been very hard and very challenging, but like Dr. Edney said, principals up and down the state are working so hard and collaborating with one another to do the very best that we can for our students and for our community. So the principals out there, remember, you can't take care of others unless you're taking care of yourself, which is so much easier said than done these days. Please make sure that you're taking time for yourself, that you're reaching out to other school leaders for support, and that you're reaching out to us at DASA if there's any way that we can support you. As a principal myself, every year, we add new tools to our tool bag and or our tool belt, and this year mine is the measuring tape. So I'm all working very hard to make sure that our students, as they come back into school, that they're wearing their masks, that they're maintaining social distancing, and there will be lots of hand washing. So principals, continue to build those tool belts, continue to do the great things that you're doing. And thank you so much for your leadership in the state of Delaware. We couldn't be more proud.
That's awesome, Dr. Feathers. It's so appropriate, a tool belt with a tape measure on it, measuring out the 6 feet to keep those desks apart. It is a challenging situation for sure. We thought that the challenge, as I mentioned a minute ago, was going to be to get the children to wear the mask, particularly the little ones. I was out just the other day, and it was actually a preschool. They were walking down the street, and they couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 feet high. And each of them had these little masks on. The mask almost covered their whole faces, but they were so cute, and they had the masks on, and obviously, again, a little bit more flexible than we adults as we move into this. So we do have one of our awardees, one of the folks that are the top of the list this year, Aquetta Jones at Highlands, not too far from where I live here in the city of Wilmington. We appreciate you. Congratulations. Say if you take some of our accolades for the Principal of the Year and for the Assistant Principal of the Year, since your colleague Shanta Reynolds is not with us, but congratulations to you and the good work that you do.
Thank you very much, Dr. Carney. Also, Dr. Bunting, the Executive Board for that.
Okay. All right, Gaga. Thank you.
It's really humbling to represent our state. However, I must say I appreciate the opportunity to work on behalf of our assistant principals on the national level within the ESP. And, you know, I am thankful for all of the principals that have been in my life, first of all, those who have continued to push me into who I have become myself. But also, you know, special shout out to my principal currently. My principal was my elementary school principal when I was teaching, and she's now my principal as assistant principal. For her dedication, for her push, for her trust in me as an assistant principal. You know, as assistant principal, we're a co-pilot. So without, you know, that effective leadership and that support, you know, we can't be successful and do what we need to do, and that's serve our kids. So I thank you for the opportunity. And I just say that principals, you rock, you create the dreams, and you help every single one of our scholars to achieve everything that they possibly can imagine. And thank you for continuing to push us, the teachers and the assistant principals and the communities out there to do better for those that we serve every day. Thank you.
So thank you and congratulations. That's awesome. We are delighted that you're going to be our representative and representing all the assistant principals, and on our Zoom call right now, the Principal of the Year, Shanta Reynolds, who's not able to be with us. I do have a proclamation which designates this month of October a Principals Month, and I would like to read it if I may. And it says, a proclamation in observance of Principals Month, whereas the state of Delaware and the nation rely on the education of our children in our elementary, middle, and high schools, and whereas within our schools, the principals set benchmarks for success and quality, establishing expectations for all students and faculty to follow, and whereas the principal's guidance directly impacts the effectiveness of our teachers who strive to deliver quality instruction to all their students, and whereas leadership in the scholastic environment is an elaborate and intricate job, and this is especially evident this year as we combat the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, which has required the principal to serve as a liaison between the school and the surrounding community, keeping parents and students informed and aware. And whereas Principals Month applauds the remarkable contributions our school principals make to the education of all our children in the state of Delaware, now therefore we, John Carney, Governor, and Bethany Hall Long, Lieutenant Governor, do hereby declare October 2020 as Principals Month in the state of Delaware, and urge all Delawareans to support and commend the efforts of the school principals in communities across our state. The Lieutenant Governor has signed it, and now so do I, and we can applaud and thank and recognize all the principals, in particular our Principal of the Year and Assistant Principal of the Year, who've been recognized here and will go and represent us nationally. Dr. Bunting, would you like to take us out?
Your gratitude and the recognition that the difference every day, the difference in lives that are made by our principals in our schools. So thank you all for what you do. Keep up the good work. And I agree with Rebecca. Make sure you take care of yourselves as well. Thank you.
Thank you all.